Right, I'm going to go back. So those of you that weren't with us, but I'm doing a little mini starting again, not entirely, but just to catch, so you can catch up, and we've got plenty of time, so let's not worry about it. So first we started off with Corinne's work, and she's got this one here from another drawing, and tried a new pencil drawing with some mark making made with different tools and so on, just to see how she got on. And her question and others is, how do you move from black and white and grey to colour? And so my suggestion really is that number one is you could paint your paper a colour, and then you've got to work with colour then, because you've got colour, you've got a red sheet of paper or something like that. You don't need to have that colour necessarily in your finished piece, or you might dull it down, but it's starting with something. The other thing was just to choose two tubes and white. So, you could have a blue and a brown, or an orange and a yellow, or something. Orange and yellow might be tricky because they're both quite bright, and you won't get anything other than orange and yellow. But so you want another colour that's sort of opposite on the colour circle, roughly, or black. Somebody, Liz suggested that she used orange, yellow, and black, because black and yellow make a really good green. So that's something to think about. So I would get started with the colour straight away, rather than trying patches of colour on a white background, which is tricky to get going, I think. So not easy, we all agreed. Then we've got Liz's, and she's got the beginning of a drawing here, and then a couple of ideas here, one with these stripy bits, and then she's had an idea for a palette. So since then she's thought she might alter the colours slightly. So that's where we've got to. And then the next one was Harriet, which we haven't spoken about yet. And Harriet, this is from one of your drawings, I think.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my charcoal drawings.
Yeah. And so
the photo's a bit blurred, I'm sorry.
It's a bit blurred, never mind. We can get the general gist, can't we? So you've got some quite nice purples and yellows in there. It's hard to get the feeling of the colour sometimes on a screen, because I can see that this paper around the side would be white, but actually it's looking grey, so it's hard to know. But and once you've got, say, some patches of colour like that, as Harriet has, it's then thinking, okay, how could I perhaps, or one of the things you could think about is, how could I make those colours really sing out? And so sort of go back to any knowledge that you have and think, well, possibly black sometimes deadens things. So maybe go back to a more full, it can be a very dark purple, but a fuller, richer mix of paint. This I know is just a sketch, but if you carry on painting, you can use the paint more thickly, sort of as I was this morning. And you can strengthen your yellow, or you could add a bit of orange in the yellow, a tiny weeny bit, or a bit of something else in the yellow. You could alter things slightly, and then look at the amounts that you've got. You've got quite a bit of yellow flashing through there. That might be just right. As you go along, you might think, no, you don't want as much, or you want more. So it's taking it from a starting point, and you have made a start with some options for colours here. But with a drawing, because it looks as though you painted, if you painted a charcoal drawing, is that what you've done?
No. I started with a white sheet of paper.
With a white sheet of paper.
And
the black here, what is that made of? Is that paint or?
It's acrylic. It's all acrylic paint, apart from
all acrylic paint, yeah.
Bits of collage as well.
Yeah. I'd probably say, if anyone asks me, is you can use black, but be very careful. And sometimes it just looks too dark and a bit dead. You might find that a richer, dark purpley colour, or a dark green or whatever, might look better. A very good black that you can make, and maybe you have used it, is no, you won't, because you haven't got the red. Is the best one is a sort of a greeny blue, like a cyan blue, or other blue options. Prussian blue, that's very dark, probably a bit too dark. Cyan blue is a good one, with cadmium red, or slightly orangey red. Those two together are pretty good. And then if you add just a dash of lemon yellow to those, once you've got them mixed up, you can then get a really good colourful black that somehow has more buzz to it, really. But you can do that as a second layer, or it doesn't have to be at the very beginning. You could use black as a starter. So I think that's quite a nice shape, actually. I like the swirly bit here from the drawing, and then the way the yellows work across there looks nice. Just now you need to think about the color and the surface texture, you know, the feeling of it. Doesn't have to be stippled or anything, but it just needs to have some I don't know, strength to it, I suppose.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
not very long to do it in.
No, hardly any time at all.
I put there are bits of collage which you probably can't.
All right, no, I can't see. No, where have you got those?
Where there's that white circle at the top with a green, and then
Oh yeah,
lower down where there's some little green marks.
yes,
And then
that's the patch. I can see
a couple
now.
of bits. Yeah, there's a couple
like
of
that,
bits
yeah.
of blue bit and a long brown.
I'm glad you've tried that because it is just something worth doing. Oops.
I'm a bit limited because I haven't got very many acrylic colours and I haven't got any of the mediums because I nearly always use oil.
You could use oil for this.
I don't know whether I should, invest in these things if I'm not really going to use.
Well, I think you should just have a go at doing this in oil actually, as you have done. This you could work on top of this in oil with no problem. And oils also have mediums, which you don't need to buy lots of, but I mean, in the past, people would have mixed up terps and linseed oil or whatever.
But I
don't know what you use, but I quite often I have a little bottle of something that it actually aids the drying a bit as well. So it's
I use linseed oil and terps.
Yeah.
White spirit to clean the brush.
Well, you could see, you could look up and see, what you might, if, what helps the drying process along, because sometimes that's the only really real issue with using oils for sketching and trying things out, is that you end up getting stuck with, you can do wet on, wet up to a point, and then you kind of need to wait. But then that's a good reason for doing several at the same time, have several on the go. And then also, if you're not painting every day, if you can get so far and you've got 2 days not doing anything, that's, you can kind of work it out that way. But yeah, I know it's expensive buying too many different things, and really, in a way, maybe we don't need to have everything. Just use what you've got. Just trying to think if there's anything else I've used to mix with oil to make it dry. Probably not. No. So finally we've got Wendy. Now, Wendy, are these all
I was trying to send, I didn't mean to send them all to you. I was trying to get one that wasn't blue.
Okay.
I don't know why sometimes when you photograph things, you get this incredible blue colour, don't you? So I was trying to send you that one there, the one the brownier one.
That one. I thought they were the same, but I kept putting them on, thinking, oh gosh, I'm not sure. I'll have to look at them afterwards.
No.
I thought, gosh, Wendy's done a lot of work,
No.
Also, because they weren't up the same. They went up the same way. So when I was looking at them, I thought, oh, that might be different, that one. Anyway.
So sorry. No.
No. You've taken some of the images, haven't you, from the...
I just wanted to do something quicker and looser, and just didn't draw first, just did it,
I think they're nice, and you could do lots of those. They don't have to be very different. They could be slightly different. You could just try little, thumbnail sketches, which can be... I do remember when I was at school and I was about 11, somebody used this word, thumbnail sketch, and I thought it meant literally something as big as a thumbnail. I just, as you do. And I couldn't imagine how you could do this little tiny thing. Anyway, there you go. I've never forgotten that. But yes, you've got lots of scope for playing with that one with colours. In this particular one, it's this blue is marginally brighter, hardly at all, but it does show up because it is marginally brighter.
Yes.
And if you're adding a second colour in with the greys, because the greys are rather nice, they're quite subtle, aren't they? And the blues, you could have a touch of burnt umber and white, or burnt umber, or something, some kind of slightly browny colour might work with the blues quite well. And just see what happens. And this is where you could actually take a piece of scrap paper and paint it a colour that you think might be quite nice, and then tear or cut a piece that's roughly the sort of size or shape that you've got, a kind of circle or something, just then place it on and look at it and see, does that look good? Is that nice if it's brown? And then this could be blue and brown mixed together, or should I put some make that brown, or should the background be something else? And trying it with paper is really quite nice. And sometimes you can then just mix that paint up and put it on your painting, which might be the best way to do it. Another time you might actually stick the piece of paper on as a piece of collage.
Yes.
What I quite like about collage, and I didn't really show you today at all, was that if you've painted some paper, got painted paper that you've painted with spare paint, and you've got it to use as another date. If you have I don't think I've got an example here, a piece of paper that you've painted, and the direction, the brush stroke direction is in one direction, or in this case is slightly, you can't really see, slightly all over. If you place a piece of paper on another like that, and the brush strokes on the piece of the paper are going in different directions, it makes a big
I don't think we
difference.
can see your demonstration.
Pardon?
I don't think we can see your demonstration.
Oh, can you see? I'm holding it up. Can you see?
No.
Oh, I can see myself. I don't know quite. Oh, I know, because it's a share thing. I'll tell you what. We'll stop sharing.
Yeah,
I've
stop
done it.
screen. Yeah.
That's why, of course, yeah. If you have a piece of paper that's painted, that's actually brush strokes all over the place. And you place another piece of paper on it like that. If the brush strokes on this are going one way and that's going another way, say, even if you really stick this on and sort of embed it on, and you really glue it down well and everything, it will look a bit different. And it's quite nice. I quite like that difference. I quite like the change in direction. So you can have quite big slabs of colour, and you can do that in painting without collage. Big slab of colour that's more or less painted, with maybe a big brush one way, and then you can bring another slab of colour in and paint it in a different way, or scumble it all over the place, and that helps to make a change in the plane, change in the feeling of the shapes, and can be used to effect. You can sort of try that and see, oh, it'll bring something forward, or set something or set back a bit because of that. And collage, I really do quite like that, because you can get a piece of paper and mask off a certain section of your painting that you've got so far with a colour. And just the fact that it's very flat and it's got the brush strokes going a different way can create something that's a surface it's a different kind of surface tension, really, I suppose. It's just things to try, and then you'll if you like something like that, then that's when you start to look for it. When if you're looking for some painted paper that you've done, you might find a piece that's got some, it's the directional marks might help. I can't really see anything on my table at the moment, I have to say. So yeah, so any more questions about what you're going to be doing this time, or you're all right? You're okay? All right. All right. Well, thank you all for coming, and there's quite a lot to think about, and you can read the brief I sent you, and that might give you some ideas as well, and just carry on, do as much as you can, and I'll see you next month. Well,
very much.
speak to you in between. Thank you very much too.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.